Jeremy Oliver here with Paul Scorpo from Scorpo Wines on the Mornington Peninsula. Paul, this is your close planted vineyard, the old cherry orchard vineyard.
Yes.
And it's about 1.6.
1.6, yes. 0.6 of a hectare.
And it's close planted.
Yes.
And people can see how, so you got very, very close plantings between the vines in the row. How far is that? About 60 centimetres or
No,
something?
75.
75.
It's
And
1.37 by 75.
so it's just about 1.4 metres, which is about, is that about less than half or half of the rows normally here?
Oh, it's about half the row.
About half. So what are you trying to achieve when you plant a vineyard deliberately? And this is a 10-year-old Pinot Noir vineyard now. What was your object? What was the motivation to plant this close?
Well, I was sort of going to Burgundy and tasting the wines and liking the wines, and we've had good success with the traditionally planted Pinot, but I just wanted to see what would happen if I planted the vines the same density that are planted in Burgundy. In Burgundy, minimum planting is 10,000 vines to the hectare, which is what this is.
That's the same.
So in 1.6 acres, I've got 6,000 vines. In the traditional planted vineyard, the Eocene vineyard, 4 acres, I've got 4,000 vines. So this is sort of this we sort of. I don't have all the fancy equipment. We've sort of cobbled stuff together, but so in this one we garden, in this one we farm.
Okay, all right. So it's the garden.
But it's really to see what would happen, the quality difference, I suppose, in doing in that close planting. Because one of the main things that happens, look, we every couple of years we cultivate under vine, and to get rid of the surface roots. So the roots have got nowhere to go but into the subsoils, which is where they get their mineral requirements from.
Yep.
And that's where they get that sense of terroir from as well.
And you've also got a lot of competition between these vines.
Yeah, so in terms of single vines, the crop is small. So you don't get many bunches. And you know, there's no scientific reason. And like, you know,
there's a lot of theory and yeah.
Well, as it's been pointed out by a lot of people that it's crazy to do what I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
Because you know the economics don't stand up. Well, they sort of stand up, but the thing is that people like drinking Burgundy, and we don't make Burgundy. We just want to make the best Pinot that we can on this site.
So correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, Paul, but what you're really saying is that this vineyard, you believe, and there's a lot of global experience to suggest you're probably correct, in fact, if not certainly correct, a close planted Pinot Noir vineyard is going to give you more density of flavour, more layers of flavour, more intensity of perfume, and quite possibly even a finer texture and structure. This is what you tend to find from these vineyards, and this is an experiment that's been repeated in New Zealand, you know, California, Oregon. It's not just here in the peninsula, so it's a global thing that's been occurring with people taking exactly the same inspiration from you, and it works.
Yeah.
And you're getting. How do you describe the difference between your Pinot off this vineyard?
I think it's a structure, and the structure is quite unique. And
in what way? When you're saying that, what do you mean? In
terms of the acid,
firmer texture.
Yeah, just in terms of the intensity of flavour. But there's also a sublimeness about it. The wines that you sort of really want to keep, you think you know, but you know you have to go back and check,
keep changing.
just to see what's going on.
Which is part of the reason you're drinking Pinot in the first place.
Yeah. You know, it's still a work in progress. I was taught that it takes 15 years to really see whether you've made the right decision in the site that you've chosen. This has still got another 5 years to go, but it's sort of looking good so far.
And these vines, coming up to, you know, this is entering their 11th year. You know, typically you'd wait 10 years before assessing Pinot Noir vineyard anyway. So this site has already, as far as I'm concerned, proved itself pretty well.
Well, you know, sort of, we're getting we're getting good support from our clients and customers.
As you should be.
So that's the main thing. And you know, we release this every year in September, and we're on to the 2021 at the moment, the Old Cherry Orchard 2021, and we've got a good experiment in that the original planted Eocene vineyard, which is 25 years old, sort of, you'll see the difference if you look at the two sites, one traditionally planted and one high density. They're both fermented in concrete fermenters, which is also unusual in Australia. So you can really see the terroir differences and also the differences in densities as well. This is much younger. The Eocene is, I mean, 1 year got best Pinot Noir in Australia in the Halliday book, but it's got age, and this has got sort of the, you know, the intensity of the high density planting.
Well, let's wait and see.
We'll see what happens.
Something pretty special will be happening here.
Works in progress, and as I said, I'll be planting another small 1.2 acres of another clone, which I really want to have in the mix as well.
And that's what you pulled your Shiraz up for, which we'll talk about later. Anyway, Paul, thank you very much. So Jeremy Oller and Paul Scorpo signing off here from the Mornington Peninsula. Thank you.